Welcome back to the As the World Burns podcast. My name is Minty Burns, and as you can see, I'm filming in my crib right now because I got a brand new set being built. Look forward to it, anticipate it's going to be super lit. But for now, I got to talk about the attempted assassination on former President Donald Trump. It came super unexpected. Everybody was kind of anticipating a scenario like this, but we never thought in the history of mankind that it would go down the way that it went down. With so many different variables and things to question, you wonder, was it planned or was it not planned? Was it a real event that didn't go in the way of the powers that be? Because there's so many different things alluding to the fact that it could have been set up or planned. Donald Trump looks like a hero with his fist pumping in the air, the most epic picture in the history of politics in the United States of America, with blood all on the side of his face. I mean, you can't buy a picture like that. You can't ask for a better moment. And this is looking like Donald Trump is pretty much going to be handed the presidency this upcoming October, November, when the election happens, because, scenarios like this are just insane. I'm about to pull up a video that says the top 6 suspicious factors of the Donald Trump assassination attempt. Now, this is what we're going to analyze and try to figure out for ourselves. Was it planned? And if so, how and why? What was the goal?
Thomas Crooks. We have more questions than answers right now surrounding the horrifying shooting of former President Donald Trump and others at a rally in Pennsylvania. From the motivation of the identified shooter to how this even happened, we're going to break down these issues with retired FBI agent and attorney Bobby Chacon. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber.
Take a look at that. So that arrow is the lowest amount of illegal immigration ever in recorded history.
This is right where the shots pop off.
And then the worst president in the history of our country took over. And look what happened to our country. Probably 20 million people. And that's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old. And if you want to really see something to say, take a look at what happened.
So you could tell right in that moment he got hit in the side of the ear. Looks like he didn't know what was going on, what it was, because you probably don't feel a bullet initially. But then everybody ducked. The Secret Service hopped on him, and unfortunately, some people in the crowd got hit as well. Sounded like more shots. So this is when he puts his fist up in the air and creates that epic moment to make him look like the hero.
We still have a lot of unanswered questions in the aftermath of the attempted assassination of former President Donald Trump from this past Saturday. We want to talk about it. This is a horrific shooting that left Republican nominee for president with a damaged ear, 2 people critically injured, 57-year-old David Dutch, 74-year-old James Copenhaver, although now they are in stable condition. And sadly, this also led to the death of firefighter, 50-year-old Corey Competore, who was apparently shielding his family from the gunfire when he was killed. It's just heartbreaking to think about what happened here. And authorities, they have identified the shooter, 20-year-old Thomas Matthew Crooks, Pennsylvania resident. As we reported on our previous sidebar on the shooting, reporting indicates Crooks was a loner, had been bullied in school, he had tried.
Now, I don't know if he's going to say it in this video, but apparently this 20-year-old shooter appeared in a 2022 commercial for the BlackRock organization. Now, if that ain't twisted, if that ain't a reason to believe that maybe the CIA sent this kid to do the job because he looked like your typical Columbine type shooter, I don't know what is.
Failed to make a school's rifle team because apparently he was a bad shot. The FBI currently leading up this investigation, looking into the shooting, and at this point, reporting indicates the shooter had used an AR-style weapon, a 5.56 rifle. Reporting indicates that the firearm was purchased legally by Crook's father, although it's not clear how he was actually able to gain access to the gun. The shooter was positioned about 130 to 150 yards away on a nearby roof, this seemingly on the outside perimeter of that rally in Butler, Pennsylvania. The shooting took place about 6 minutes into Trump's speech, and after the shooting, law enforcement discovered rudimentary explosives in Crook's car that was parked near the rally. This included an apparent IED. They also discovered bomb-making materials in his home as well. And apparently Crooks also had a remote-controlled detonator on his body as well. So it makes you think about how much more destructive and lethal this event could have been. But we have so many unanswered questions about what led up to this shooting, how it happened. And so with that...
Let's get to the questions.
Well, I mean, Jesse, look, without any political assassination or attempted assassination that this is, there's an implied motivation. He wanted Donald Trump dead because he didn't want Donald Trump to become the president. I think that's kind of an implied thing. I mean, he might have...
To me, that sounds like a very generic motive. Why would a 20-year-old kid give a fuck that much about killing the next potential president of the United States?
It is Donald Trump for other reasons, but it's hard to see that he took this action for any other reason other than he wanted to stop Donald Trump from becoming the next president. I mean, he might have had an agreements with Trump for other past actions that Trump may have taken while he was president the first time. But this is a political assassination, and normally those things have that implied motive of you want to stop this person's political ambitions.
Well, this is why it's strange, because CNN is reporting that investigators have kind of hit a roadblock. They've been looking at his phone, they've been looking at his computer searches, they've searched the home, they've interviewed friends, family, and they can't piece together a definitive motive. There's reportedly...
Probably because this kid was a plant. They probably wanted to assassinate Donald Trump, and he missed, and he just grazed his ear, made him look like a hero. That probably wasn't the intention, or maybe it was. How could you see the kid climbing up on the roof 120 meters away from where the former president is speaking, watch the kid climb up on the roof, set up his rifle, take aim at Donald Trump, and not do something about it? With people in the crowd screaming. I mean, I'm sure this video will get to that, but those are like a few of multiple factors to make you question that this isn't just a random assassination attempt.
Nothing out of the ordinary. They find an interest in coding and gaming, but they can't seem to find any kind of political ideation, any religious motivation, nothing, no clue that would lead anybody to suspect he was about to do this. Do you find that very unusual to see that?
It is very, because like I said, along with the implied motivation of a political assassination or attempted assassination, you do normally find a lot of political ideology in the person's lifestyle and his background and his conversations with people and his associations with people and organizations. And so normally they are ideologues and they are hell-bent on carrying out an act of violence, a political act of violence. It's normally very apparent from looking at their background, and here they're not finding that. So, there's that, like I said, there's an implied motivation, but it could be, he was just out for fame, but oftentimes we also see indications of that in his background. He wanted to become famous because killing...
This kid doesn't look like a kid that cares to be famous, I'll tell you that.
Obviously would make him famous, or, because we had, different motivations. When Hinckley shot Reagan, it was because of his fascination with Jodie Foster. He thought he would maybe be famous. The person that killed John Lennon actually was a big John Lennon fan. So sometimes these people have these ideas in their head that this...
How about the fact that the head of the Secret Service told the sniper or the guy that had him in his scope not to pull the trigger? He had him in his scope for 3 hours, and even after he started firing shots, he told him to hold off and not pull the trigger, and that agent essentially didn't listen to the orders, pulled the trigger anyways, killing the gunman Is he a hero? I think so. I mean, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments.
I'm going to carry out this act, and then I would be viewed as this other person or in this way. So, that's more of a mental health expert question. Like, could it, and what is it in his background might indicate that. But yeah, you're right. I mean, a political motivated attack normally has some kind of, it would be more active politically, either online or in person, and we're just not finding that right now.
And it could be that he also potentially had a grudge against other people at the rally, because if you take it, obviously the number of shots that were fired, the people who were injured, someone who was killed, and if the explosives in the car, which he could potentially have detonated and harmed a lot more people, it's difficult to know who the exact target was or why. But here's the thing, if you were to watch him before this, you'd say, something was up with this guy. Why? Because CNN is also reporting that Crooks had visited a shooting range the day before the rally. Apparently he was a member there. Then goes to a Home Depot where he purchases a ladder. Then goes to a local gun store in Bethel Park, Pennsylvania, buys 50 rounds of ammunition. Apparently drives to the rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, parks the car, uses the ladder to get to the roof of the adjacent American Glass Research Building, sets up and opens fire. So Bobby, when we talk about what his motivation was, when we see law enforcement trying to set up a timeline here, what do you take away from it?
Notou algo diferente na minha voz? E se eu te contar que eu nunca falei isso? Eu acabei de usar um aplicativo.
What I take away from that is that the Secret Service is supposed to show up at the location of the rally days in advance, scale the entire area. They're supposed to know every single angle, every single rooftop that someone could possibly be shooting from, and they're supposed to be watching those areas, which clearly they weren't, because the kid climbed up using a fucking ladder from Home Depot and stood there for 3 hours, like, zoning in on Trump without any issue whatsoever. Like, this shit doesn't add up at all.
Well, the young man was very determined. It clearly he's determined to carry out this attack with all of these steps he's taking. What we call pre-event planning and pre-event activity, which makes the question of why we're not seeing more rhetoric, more associations in his background that would have led somebody to believe that he was going to do this, because he's a pretty determined individual, as your description rightly spells out. And so someone that determined is so motivated, it's hard not to think that you wouldn't see some motivation of that in other parts of his life, either online or talking to friends or mentioning something to family members. If he was able to keep all of this rage and carrying a gun to a rooftop and shooting into a crowd, and practicing the day before. I mean, you are determined. There's a lot of rage there, and to have that rage not manifest.
Sounds like he was sent on a mission, because this kid does not look like a determined kid in life in general. So he must have been sent on a mission by somebody for some reason, and that's what we're here trying to figure out. But there's a lot of factors, and of course, we're probably going to hear more and more about the situation as time goes by. But this is what we know as of right now.
Itself in prior behavior or prior acts or prior discussions is really unusual.
At the time of this reporting, Bobby, no evidence about how he knew how to make explosive devices. That's not an easy thing. And again, if they haven't found searches online or talk about how to make these devices, I find that weird too.
Yeah, that's the first thing I would think of. Look at the search history. Is he searching Google how to make an IED or something like that? Now, I mean, our guys are digging into a forensic examiner, or a forensic examiner. I'm good at that. So, if he was able to use, this was a young man, he knows computers. He's of the age that he grew up with them. And so, if he was using some kind of, dark web to hide his search histories and stuff, our guys usually find that stuff. And so, hopefully, something like that happens, because I don't know where.
So we got the gist of everything they said in that law and crime video about the 6 reasons why the assassination attempt was suspicious. But I'm going to pull up another video from a guy named Greg Reese, who actually breaks down the assassination attempt really well. And I'm going to listen to what he has to say real quick, because his take on things is super interesting, and he has to say.
According to a CNN report, Thomas Crooks purchased a 5-foot ladder on his way to the rally and was able to somehow carry this ladder along with his rifle to a building with a direct line of sight to Trump's podium. a building that was occupied by heavily armed police.
Tonight, ABC News has learned that heavily armed local police were stationed inside that building and missed Thomas Crooks climbing up the outside of the building to the roof.
With rifle in hand, Crooks used this ladder to climb the building and was spotted on the rooftop 30 minutes before he opened fire. He was photographed by police and reported 25 minutes before the shooting. He was even confronted while on the roof before the shooting.
A local police officer climbed up the roof and confronted Brooks moments before the shooting.
The officer grabbed hold of the edge of the building, pulled himself up to be able to look, and according to what he's told me, shooter turned, rifle was pointed at the officer. The officer, defensive move, kind of ducked, fell, lost his grip on the building.
Bystanders began pointing.
Let me just say the CIA doesn't make mistakes. If you don't think there's some type of conspiracy aspect to this situation, you're an idiot.
The defensive sniper detail was looking directly at him a full 40 seconds before he opened fire and allowed him to fire a few shots before taking him out. The first shot fired grazed Trump's right ear as he turned his head towards the shooter. Had he not turned his head, he would have been murdered on live television.
We call that DRT, which means dead right there. And so what that means is all sympathetic, parasympathetic nerve response is gone because I've just basically severed your central nervous system. Whether it's right here or from the side, you're looking right about here at the ear, it's going to sever that central nervous system, and it means everything stops. It's lights out. The fact that it literally grazed him, I mean, we're talking about a matter of like a half a degree difference.
Doctor just turned my head to show the chart, and something wrapped me. It felt like a giant, like the world's largest mosquito.
According to a classmate, Crooks was shooting competitively as early as his freshman year and was a member of a local gun club. So he's been training with a rifle for at least 5 years. And the mathematics submitted by Mike Adams and verified by Michael Yawn suggest that the shots were fired by Crooks. So far, Crooks is an enigma, which fits the profile of a mind control assassin. But either way, this was undoubtedly an inside job to assassinate President Trump and leads directly to Mayorkas. Viktor Orban has been privately meeting with Ukraine President Zelensky, Russian President Putin.
There's no way that it was this dumb 20-year-old kid's idea. Clearly, it was an inside job, but from who and why? What did they want to happen? Probably to assassinate Donald Trump, and it failed.
That he's ready to stop the war in Ukraine, we take that very seriously. Well, I haven't seen his ideas on how exactly he's going to do that, and that is the key question. But I have no doubt that he says that sincerely, and we support that.
Astrologers have been predicting events around a rare planetary transit occurring on July 15th, involving the star Algol, known as the Demon Star, which represents Medusa's beheading and is considered to be one of the most violent and unfortunate stars in astrology. And the assassination attempt occurred on the same day as the Bohemian Club's occult ritual, the cremation of care, at the Bohemian Grove, where an effigy is sacrificed in fire. Whether you call them the Illuminati, the Deep State, or the Synagogue of Satan, they do not want peace. But America lives to fight another day. Reporting for InfoWars, this is Greg Reese.
So the shit happened on the same day as a massive Illuminati ritual in the fucking Bohemian Grove.
The Simpsons is known for freakishly predicting the future.
As you know, we've inherited quite a but.
So this episode was actually pulled from air silently in the UK or worldwide. I heard it was in the UK, but it could be worldwide. I wonder why.
To crunch for President Trump.
And once again, it's making headlines for an old episode eerily mirroring the present day. Channel 4 in the UK recently pulled an episode that could be seen as being in bad taste in the aftermath of the assassination attempt on former President Donald Trump during a rally on July 13th.
I think I took her on.
Wait, let's see what she has to say.
That looks like the exact setup of the rally, literally. Obviously the roof, but like look at the crowd and look at the podium where he's speaking. It looks so similar.
The episode in question is Season 7's Lisa the Iconoclast, which is about Lisa discovering that Springfield's founder, Jebediah Springfield, was actually a fraud and a pirate. It was supposed to air on Channel 4 the afternoon of July 14th, but 2 moments that could be seen as in bad taste got it swapped out for another episode. The first comes when Springfield attempts to kill President George Washington, only to walk away in defeat. The next one comes when Lisa addresses the people of Springfield to reveal the truth, only to stop herself at the last moment. Realizing the lie is more comforting. As Lisa walks away, a sniper referenced earlier in the sequence takes a shot with a bullet hitting the stage. With 2 people dying at Trump's rally, including the shooter, it was probably best for Channel 4 to err on the side of caution. This is an eerie similarity between the grandstand the sniper's aiming at in the episode from a rooftop outlet and the one from Trump's rally. Lisa the Iconoclast was supposed to air during a Simpsons Season 7 marathon on Channel 4. Instead of that airing, viewers retreated to the episode Baby You Can't Drive My Car from Season 30, which sees Homer get a job at a self-driving car startup. Lisa the Iconoclast is topical for another reason. The episode guest stars the late incident in 2020. It has one prediction that failed to come to fruition. People have also faked.
Alright, as we know, The Simpsons predicts everything, good and bad, but mostly bad. And that's just another example of the fact that we might be living in a simulation, you know? The Simpsons is predicting the future. They also predicted that Trump's going to be elected president in 2024, which is most likely going to happen, especially now that he looks like a hero. He's been indicted federally. He beat his charges. He's been shot. He's pretty resilient for like a man in his late 70s, and he speaks well compared to Sleepy Joe Biden. So hate him or love him, he's probably going to be the next president of the United States if another assassination attempt doesn't go down successfully. Hopefully not. But yeah, there's a lot of things to question with this recent event, and hopefully there's not any more scenarios like this, because the election's in November, so we still got some time. We got time for chaos. What do you think is going to happen in these upcoming months leading up to the election? Is there going to be more assassination attempts? Is there going to be more fuckery? Is the election going to be rigged? Is there going to be an attempt on Biden's life? You tell me, you let me know in the comments. You let me know if you're a Trump supporter or a Biden supporter, and let me know your thoughts on all the different scenarios and variables that could have taken place on this eerie, gloomy, spooky day, because there's so many strange things about it. That's pretty much all I got to say about it right now. As more things unfold, as more information comes out in the media and the news, I'm going to be here to report on it. We're back as the World Burns podcast. Don't forget to like this video, drop a comment, and of course subscribe to the channel. We're back every day, baby. New set on the way. You know what I'm saying? So hope you guys have a blessed week. And again, let me know your opinion on this shit. It's real vital. We're in vital times right now. 2024, the world is burning down, and we need to stop it from burning. My name is Minty Burns. Hope y'all have a great day. Peace.